My name is Stuart Frearson. And what more should I tell you? My history? What
a little deal, for example.
So my original education was scientific education, then I was an analyst programmer, and then I changed to become a chartered accountant. And then I had 10 years with PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Big Four firm, doing auditing and IT consulting and accounting and taxation. Then I set up on my own. And since then I've had a mix of client work, of IT consulting work, change management, training, and that's how I still make my living now.
Okay, so what you can tell us about this seminar? So how was, for example, the audience from your point of view?
They were very intelligent, very educated, very knowledgeable. I was quite impressed by the level of attendance. They obviously knew what, apart from the language barrier, which slowed us down a bit. We had a very good interpreter locally. Their knowledge level was very high, and their enthusiasm was very high, so it was quite a good audience.
Great. And can you tell me more about, okay, if you're talking about the Treasury, yeah, what trends can you name? What new trends, what new things in Treasury, Treasury management and the
Treasury is becoming more and more important because it manages your cash, your money, and everyone's tight for money. Any good company, you do inventory management. If you have inventory, you collect your receivables, your customers, and the other asset you need to manage carefully is your cash, particularly at the moment. And that's what Treasury does. So Treasury is becoming more and more important. So you see an increase in importance in the Treasury function. With that, to make it more efficient, goes automation. Now that everybody has web access to some very good software to help you manage your money, cash management. And the other thing is with the centralization, there's a lot more forecasting and hedging and foreign exchange swaps and trying to manage your global enterprise. So those are probably the most trends. The more important because cash is tight, automation and globalization.
If we're talking about the CIS countries, so Russia, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, for example, what, from your point of view, is important topics, important things for these countries?
It's difficult to know what the business environment is like in Russia for me at the moment, because I'm sure it's different from here. But I think you have a much more liberal foreign exchange regime than we do here. We tend to follow the Americans, who believe anyone who moves money is probably a drug lord or a terrorist, which can make life very difficult with know your customer, KYC, AML rules, which tighten things up. I imagine you don't have quite so much tightness as we do. You probably have more international banks than ours are. But still otherwise the functions must be the same, just managing your resources carefully, forecasting the future exchange rates because the ruble goes up and down a lot with political crises and whether the oil demand is going up or down. So you need to hedge and you need to buy foreign exchange. So those are probably the most important things for you.
I mean, what from your own experience and your what do you think, what we can implement, for example, for our delegates? Our delegates mostly are from CIS countries, and they're looking like the comparison of the situation in the UK and, for example, in Russia, because it's completely different. The system is completely different. But what practices can we implement and that can be interested for
the Treasury function of managing your resource, your money, must be the same everywhere. And I imagine there's probably a lot more scope for automating it in Russia. Treasury functions by their nature are centralized. You have one central Treasury function for all your worldwide subsidiaries, so that if one has a lot of money and the other one has an overdraft, you can balance that out and avoid paying overdraft charges, and you can get your money together so that you can better invest it, better to hedge for the future. I imagine that's universal. It must be true of you guys as well. Take a global viewpoint, centralize your treasury in your home currency, and optimize your utilization of your monetary mass.
Let's talk a little bit, not about the treasury, but about, from your point of view and from your own experience, interesting topics that you can, for example, talk more in practical way. So not a theory for our clients, but more practical experience. Yeah, I think audit as a...
Apart from the Treasury
of
that
the
we
Big
talked
Four.
about, I have two main areas. One is audit, and IT audit, which in the West has become very stylized since Sarbanes-Oxley, Sarbanes-Oxley Act. It produced a structure for auditing, which again you can automate with software. But I would be happy to help them implement. If you haven't got an internal control or an internal audit department, I would know how to teach them how to start and how to implement and how to run an internal audit department, bottom up or top down, whichever you like.
And what about the IFRS? Because, for example, a lot of Ukrainian companies or the Russian and Kazakh companies, they are changing the accounting, they're changing to IFRS. Because, for example, they're accounting IPO or IPO mostly.
Or they want to go to the international market.
To the international market, they need to change their policy.
I doubt that their generally accepted accounting principles as they have them are that different. IFRS is more or less an average of what the whole world does. So it's not dramatically different except for some of the funny jargon. They have words you haven't heard before, impairment of assets and so on. And you need to know the standards, particularly it's oriented towards the complex financial instruments that the Americans invented, the sponsors really get at, sound like that. Otherwise, if you're talking on a common sense basis, receivable, stock, balance sheet, all these items, normal stuff, you won't find that different. So it's good I do a specific course of IFRS for the oil and gas industry, which is probably of interest to you guys, and just general IFRS financial statements. So I'll be happy to do both of those, but do not fear them. Come on, of course, you will understand it very quickly.
Thank you.